Chosen ones, God says the time is now. Tonight's message explains everything clearly, and you need to hear this before the stars fade from the sky. That restlessness stirring in your chest, that ache you can't name, that whisper telling you something massive is about to break. It's not your imagination. It's heaven's alarm clock, ringing with divine urgency, calling you to a moment that will never come again. You didn't stumble across this video. This message was sent to find you, to pierce through the noise of a distracted world and speak directly to your soul, right now. As the moonlight spills across the earth, God is pulling back the veil to reveal why your deepest struggles have been forging you for a breakthrough so powerful it will echo through generations. This video unveils a unique truth. Your greatest fears are not barriers, but keys, crafted by God to unlock the destiny you were born to claim. So, don't you dare scroll away. The next hour will rewrite the story you've told yourself about who you are and what's possible. Picture a scroll unfurling in the courts of heaven, your name written in golden ink, glowing with divine purpose. That's not a fantasy. It's the reality of this moment. You're not here by accident. You're standing at the edge of a divine appointment where every tear you've cried, every door that slammed shut, every night you wrestled with doubt has been preparation for a breakthrough that's already unfolding. Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." God knew this exact second would find you here, heart racing, soul stirring, ready to discover why your pain was never punishment, but divine positioning. You've felt invisible, haven't you? Like others got their miracles while you were left waiting. But tonight, God whispers, you weren't forgotten, chosen one, you were forged. Let's talk about that weight you've carried, the loneliness that follows you into crowded rooms, the dreams you've buried because they seem too big, the voice in your head that says you're not enough. You've watched others step into blessings while you stood at closed doors, wondering if God had favorites and you weren't one of them. But here's the truth that will shatter those lies. Every closed door was God's protection. Every delay was Him building your character for a destiny too vast for quick wins. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, locked in a prison for years. Did it look like abandonment? Yes. But Genesis 50:20 reveals the divine plot twist. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Every slammed door was redirecting him to save nations. Your story is no different. Those rejections, divine detours, those sleepless nights, holy training grounds. You weren't broken, you were built differently. Now, feel that electricity in the air? That's not anxiety. That's awakening. The Holy Spirit is stirring, confirming that tonight is not just another night. It's the night God says. The time is now. You're not waiting for your breakthrough anymore. It's here, knocking, demanding your response. But here's what makes this moment different from every other. This is about overcoming the fear that's kept you stuck. Fear has been the phantom guard at the gate of your destiny, whispering lies like, you're too old, you've failed too much, what if you step out and fall? But 2 Timothy 1:7 thunders, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Fear is a liar, and tonight we're exposing it. Your fear isn't a wall, it's a key, shaped by God to fit the lock of this divine moment. Let me tell you about Sarah, a single mother from Charlotte, North Carolina. At 42, she'd spent years dreaming of opening a bakery, but fear of failure kept her stuck in a dead-end office job. She'd pray, God, give me a sign, but every time an opportunity came, she'd freeze, terrified of losing her savings or looking foolish. Last year, she heard a message like this one, felt her heart race, but hesitated. A month later, the perfect storefront she'd eyed was leased to someone else. But Sarah didn't give up. She faced her fear, sold her old car for startup cash, and opened a small bakery in a strip mall. Today, her shop, Sarah's Sweet Haven, employs 5 people and feeds dozens of families daily. Her fear wasn't her enemy. It was her invitation to trust God's plan. What fear is holding you back right now? Name it, because tonight it loses its power. You're not just anyone. You're a chosen one, hand-picked by God for a purpose so unique it makes the angels lean in. Revelation 2:17 promises, "To the one who overcomes, I will give a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it." That's you. Carrying a secret name, a divine identity the enemy has tried to bury under doubt and distraction. But tonight, God is calling that name, urging you to step into your faith journey and claim your personal transformation. This isn't about temporary blessings. It's about becoming the person God saw when He dreamed you into existence. A warrior, a healer, a history maker. So what's stopping you? Maybe it's the fear of inadequacy, that voice saying, "I'm not qualified." Moses felt that too, stuttering before Pharaoh, yet God used him to part seas. Maybe it's the fear of failure, the "what if I try and crash?" Esther risked death to approach the king, and her courage saved a nation. Or maybe it's the sneaky fear of success, whispering, "What if I can't handle the spot?" David was just a shepherd, yet he became a king. Your fears aren't disqualifications. They're the raw materials God uses to craft your breakthrough. Picture a radiant door, your name carved in gold, standing open under a starlit sky. That door isn't locked. It's waiting for you to walk through, but you have to move now. Here's where this gets practical. God isn't asking you to leap blindly. He's given you a divine compass, hope, faith, and action. To step into this moment of spiritual awakening, you need to take specific, relatable steps that bridge heaven's promises to your reality. I'm giving you 3 clear actions to take this week, and only 3, because transformation doesn't need complexity. It needs commitment. First, write down one goal you've delayed out of fear. Maybe it's starting a business, applying for a job, or even forgiving someone. Put it on paper, make it real, and place it where you'll see it daily. Second, reach out to one person who needs your light. Call a friend you've lost touch with, text a family member you need to reconcile with, or volunteer an hour at a local shelter. Your action will ripple. Third, start one small project tied to your purpose. Write the first page of that book, register a domain for that ministry, or sketch the logo for that dream. These steps aren't random. They're your keys to unlock the door of destiny. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps us reach more chosen ones standing at their own divine thresholds, searching for the courage to move. Every seed you sow spreads hope further, but whether you give or simply receive, your presence here is ordained. Now, let's keep moving forward, because this is about more than inspiration. It's about activation. Imagine standing on a cliff's edge, the wind whipping through your hair, a vast canyon of possibilities stretching before you. That's where you are right now. The world wants you to step back, to play it safe, to stay small. But God is saying, jump! I've already built the bridge. Your fears are real, but they're not the truth. The truth is Psalm 34:4. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Your fears are the shadows cast by the light of your calling. Step into that light, and the shadows disappear. You're not just surviving, you're destined to thrive, to lead, to leave a legacy that outlives you. Let's talk about someone else who faced fear and won. Michael, a 55-year-old teacher from Boise, Idaho, always felt called to mentor at-risk youth. But fear of rejection kept him silent. What if they don't listen? What if I'm too old to connect? He'd ask. Last summer he heard a sermon about stepping out in faith, and something clicked. He volunteered at a local community center, starting with just one teen, Jamal, who was on the verge of dropping out. Michael listened, shared his own struggles, and helped Jamal graduate high school. Today, Michael mentors 12 kids, and his program is funded by local businesses. His fear wasn't a stop sign, it was a starting line. What's your starting line? What small step can you take today to turn fear into fuel? You're part of a remnant, a family of chosen ones across the globe, each standing at their own divine door. Right now, in living rooms, coffee shops, and quiet bedrooms, thousands are feeling this same stirring, this same call to their divine purpose. You're not alone. Hebrews 12:1 reminds us, we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Those witnesses, angels, saints, and the Spirit himself, are cheering you on, urging you to run your race. But running means moving, not standing still. Your 3 steps. Writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your first strides. Don't overthink them, just do them. God works in the doing, not the debating. If your heart is pounding, if you feel that divine spark igniting, type "I am stepping into my time now" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just words, it's a spiritual contract, sealing your commitment to heaven and inspiring others to take their own leap. When you comment, pray for the person above you. That's how we build a community of faith, one warrior lifting another. Let's keep going, because the door is still open and the clock is still ticking. Picture a battlefield, not of swords and shields, but of dreams and doubts. You're not a bystander, you're a warrior, armed with faith, hope, and the promises of God. The enemy of your soul doesn't want you to know how close you are to victory. He's thrown every lie, every setback, every distraction to keep you from this moment. But Isaiah 54:17 declares, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Those fears, they're weapons, and they're failing. That door before you, glowing with your name, leads to a life where your struggles become your strength, your pain becomes your purpose, and your fears become your testimony. Let's address the lie that you're too broken to step through. You're not broken. You're being remade. Think of a mosaic, each shattered piece carefully placed to create a masterpiece. That's you. Every crack in your heart, every scar on your soul is part of God's design for your personal transformation. Romans 8:28 promises, all things work together for good to those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Your failures, your regrets, your losses, they're not the end. They're the raw materials for your breakthrough. You don't need to be perfect to walk through this door. You just need to be willing. Now, let's talk about time. You might think you have years to decide, months to prepare, weeks to get ready, but divine timing doesn't work like that. Esther had one moment to approach the king. Noah had one season to build the ark. You have this moment, this night, this now. The door is open, but it won't stay that way forever. Jesus warned in Luke 13:25, when the master of the house has locked the door, it will be too late. Don't let this be the night you look back on, wishing you'd moved. Your 3 steps, write a goal, reach out, start a project, are your immediate response to heaven's call. They're simple, but they're powerful, because they signal your yes to God's plan. Imagine a river, its current swift and strong, carrying you toward a destiny you can't yet see. That's where you are right now. The world tells you to swim against it, to cling to the shore of comfort and control. But God says, let go. Trust the flow. Your faith journey isn't about fighting the current, it's about surrendering to it. Proverbs 3:5-6 instructs, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Your 3 steps are your surrender, your trust, your movement into the river of God's plan. Let's talk about someone who trusted the flow. Anna, a 30-year-old nurse from Atlanta, always felt called to write a book about her journey through grief after losing her brother. Fear of criticism kept her silent. What if no one reads it? What if it's not good enough? She'd ask. Last spring, she took a small step, writing 1 page. That page became a chapter, then a manuscript. She self-published her book, Healing Through the Hurt, and it's now used in grief support groups across her city. Anna's fear didn't vanish, but her action outran it. Her 1 step, writing that page, was her key to the door. What's your 1 step? You've got your 3. Write a goal, reach out, start a project. Pick one and move today. You're not just stepping into a moment. You're stepping into a legacy. Your breakthrough isn't just for you. It's for the generations behind you, the people beside you, the souls you'll never meet, but whose lives will shift because you said yes. Think of David, a shepherd boy whose victory over Goliath didn't just free him, it freed a nation. Your victory over fear will do the same. It will free your family from cycles of doubt, your community from chains of despair, your world from the lie that dreams are too big. You're a chosen one, not because you're perfect, but because you're called. And tonight, God says, the time is now. If your spirit is burning, if you're ready to claim your divine purpose, type I am stepping into my time now in the comments. Your words are a beacon, lighting the way for others who are hesitating at their own doors. Pray for the commenter above you, because we're a family bound by purpose, not proximity. Let's keep pressing forward, because the door is still open and the stars are still shining. Picture a lighthouse, standing firm against crashing waves, its beam cutting through the darkest storm. That's you, chosen one. You were built to shine, to guide, to stand when everything else falls. The enemy wants you to believe your light is too weak, your story too small, your fears too big. But John 1:5 declares, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Your light, your faith, your hope, your action is stronger than every lie you've been told. Your 3 steps are your fuel, keeping that light burning bright. Write that goal, reach out, start that project. Don't wait for permission or perfection. Shine now. Let's talk about the cost of waiting. Every day you hesitate, someone else is stuck in their darkness, waiting for the light only you can bring. That ministry you're delaying, souls are waiting for its message. That forgiveness you're withholding, a family is waiting for its impact. The dream you're shelving, a community is waiting for its impact. The children of Israel could have reached the promised land in 11 days, but fear turned it into 40 years. Don't let fear steal your now. Your breakthrough is tied to your obedience, and your obedience is tied to your action. You've got your 3 steps. They're not mountains, they're moments. Seize them. If this message is moving you, If you feel the weight of destiny pressing in, consider supporting through super thanks below. Your gift helps us carry this light to others, illuminating paths for chosen ones still lost in the storm. But whether you sow or simply stand, know this: you were born for this moment. The door is open, the time is now, and God is waiting for your yes. Imagine a seed buried in dark soil, pressed down by weight it can't see. It doesn't know the sun is waiting, the rain is coming, the harvest is promised. It only knows it must push through. That's you right now, your fears, your doubts, your struggles. They're the soil, not the story. Your 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your push, your breakthrough into the light. Philippians 1:6 assures, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." God's not done with you. He's just getting started. But you have to move, because faith without works is dead. Let's talk about legacy one last time. Your life isn't just about you. It's about the children who'll inherit your courage, the friends who'll share your story, the strangers who'll find hope because you stepped through this door. Think of Harriet Tubman leading 300 slaves to freedom, not because she was fearless, but because she was faithful. Her fear was real, but her action was stronger. Your action, those 3 steps, will do the same. Write that goal to plant a seed. Reach out to mend a bridge. Start that project to light a path. You're not just stepping into your time, you're stepping into eternity. If your heart is ablaze, if you're ready to push through the soil of fear into the sunlight of destiny, type "I am stepping into my time now" in the comments. Your declaration is a spark, igniting faith in others who are still buried. Pray for the person above you, because we're a movement, not a moment. The door is still open, but the clock is ticking. The stars are watching. Heaven is waiting. And God says the time is now. Chosen ones, as those words settle into your spirit, feel the ground beneath you shift, not with uncertainty, but with the rumble of divine purpose awakening. You're not just standing at a door, you're on the cusp of a revolution. One that begins in your heart and ripples out to touch lives you can't yet imagine. The stars above are more than lights in the sky. They're witnesses to this sacred moment, where heaven aligns with earth, and God's whisper becomes a roar. The time is now. You've carried dreams that felt too heavy, endured losses that seemed too deep, faced fears that loomed like giants. But tonight, those giants are falling, because you're not just a dreamer, you're a doer. A chosen vessel crafted for a spiritual awakening that will reshape your world. Picture a tapestry, woven with threads of every moment you thought was wasted, every rejection, every silent prayer, every time you stood up when you wanted to stay down. That tapestry isn't a record of your pain, it's a masterpiece of God's plan. Each thread carefully placed to reveal a picture of triumph. Ephesians 2:10 declares, "We are God's handiwork, created in advance for us to do. Good works which God prepared in advance for us." You're not a mistake. You're a masterpiece, designed for works so significant they were planned before the stars were hung. Those fears you faced, they weren't meant to stop you. They were meant to strengthen you, to teach you how to wield the faith that moves mountains. Let's talk about the mountain in front of you now. It's not made of stone or earth. It's made of questions. What if I'm not ready? What if I misheard God? What if this moment passes and I'm still the same? Those questions are real, but they're not the truth. The truth is that readiness isn't a prerequisite for destiny. Willingness is. And think of Peter, called to walk on water in the middle of a storm. Did he feel ready? No. His feet sank when doubt crept in, but Matthew 14:31 shows us Jesus didn't let him drown. Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Your willingness to step out, even with shaky faith, is enough for God to catch you. Your 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your water walking moment. They're not about perfection, they're about movement, about trusting that God's hand is already outstretched. Now, let's meet someone who stepped out and found solid ground. Rachel, a 38-year-old librarian from Denver, Colorado, always felt a tug to start a community book club for teens struggling with mental health. Fear of judgment held her back. What if no one shows up? What if I say the wrong thing, she'd worry. But last fall, she took a small step. She posted a flyer at her library. 7 teens showed up to the first meeting, nervous but hopeful. Rachel shared her own story of overcoming anxiety, and the room opened up. Today, her club, Pages of Hope, meets weekly, with 20 teens finding a safe space to heal. Rachel's fear didn't vanish, but her action outshone it. Her one step, posting that flyer, was her bridge from fear to impact. Your steps, write a goal, reach out, start a project, are your bridge too. They're simple, but they're sacred, because they carry you into God's promises. You're not just crossing a threshold, you're entering a new dimension of your faith journey. Imagine a vast library, its shelves stretching to the heavens, each book a story of God's faithfulness. Your story is there, its pages still being written, but the next chapter depends on you. Will it be a chapter of hesitation or one of holy boldness? Joshua 1:9 commands, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Your courage doesn't come from your strength, it comes from His presence. Your 3 steps are your pen, writing a chapter that will inspire generations. Don't let fear steal the ink. If this message is igniting your spirit, if you feel the weight of eternity pressing in, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks below. Your support helps carry this truth to others standing at their own divine crossroads, searching for the boldness to move. But whether you give or simply listen, know this: you were born for this hour. The door is open, and God is calling you to step through with faith that defies the impossible. Now, let's talk about the impossible. You've seen it, haven't you? The gap between where you are and where you're called to be. It looks like a chasm, too wide, too deep, too daunting. Maybe it's a financial dream that seems out of reach, a relationship that feels beyond repair, or a purpose that feels too big for your hands. But God specializes in the impossible. Luke 1:37 proclaims, "For no word from God will ever fail." That chasm isn't a barrier, it's a canvas, waiting for God to paint a miracle. Your job isn't to bridge the gap. It's to take the steps He's given you. Write that goal to declare your faith. Reach out to restore what's broken. Start that project to plant a seed. God will handle the rest, because He's not just in the business of miracles. He's in the business of making you a miracle. Let's look at someone who crossed an impossible gap. Daniel, a 29-year-old mechanic from Tulsa, Oklahoma, dreamed of opening a garage to train young men from his neighborhood, many of whom were caught in cycles of poverty. Fear of financial ruin kept him stuck. "I barely make ends meet. How can I start a business?" he had asked. But last winter, he took a step. He wrote a business plan, just 1 page. That plan led to a conversation with a local pastor, who connected him with a small grant program. Today, Daniel's garage, Wheels of Change, employs 3 young men and trains 5 more. His fear was real, but his action was stronger. His one step, writing that plan, was his leap across the chasm. Your steps are your leap too. They're not about having all the answers, they're about trusting the one who does. You're part of a divine symphony, chosen one. Right now, across the globe, others are hearing this same call, their hearts beating in rhythm with yours. You're not alone in this personal transformation. Romans 8:19 says, "The creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." That's you, being revealed, not just to the world, but to yourself. You're not the person you were yesterday. You're not defined by your fears or your failures. You're defined by the God who calls you his own, who carved your name on that radiant door and said, "This one will change the world." Your 3 steps are your notes in this symphony, harmonizing with the faith of others to create a sound that shakes the heavens. If your soul is stirring, if you're ready to claim this moment as your divine turning point, type, "I am answering God's call tonight" in the comments below. Your words are a melody, resonating with others who are stepping into their own breakthroughs. Pray for the commenter above you, because we're a choir, not a solo act. Let's keep moving, because the door is still open and the symphony is still playing. Imagine a flame, small but unquenchable, burning in the core of your being. That's your calling, your divine purpose, the spark God placed in you before time began. The world has tried to douse it with doubt, drench it with disappointment, smother it with fear. But Isaiah 42:3 promises, "A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out." Your flame is still burning, and tonight it's about to blaze. Your 3 steps, write a goal, reach out, start a project, are the oxygen that feeds that fire. They're not tasks, they're acts of worship, declarations that your light will not be hidden. Let's talk about the darkness you've faced, the moments when you felt the flame flicker, when you wondered if God had turned away. Those weren't moments of abandonment, they were moments of refinement. Think of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego thrown into a fiery furnace for their faith. Daniel 3:25 reveals a 4th man in the fire, walking with them, untouched by the flames. That 4th man is with you too, in your furnace of fear, your crucible of doubt. Your 3 steps are your walk out of the fire, proving that nothing can extinguish what God has ignited. Write that goal to claim your victory. Reach out to share your light. Start that project to set the world ablaze. You're not just stepping through a door, you're stepping into a promise. God's promises are not maybes, they're certainties, sealed in his unchanging word. Numbers 23:19 states God is not human, that he should lie, not a human being, that he should change his mind. Your breakthrough isn't a hope, it's a guarantee, waiting for your faith to claim it. Your 3 steps are your claim, your yes to a God who never says no to his chosen. Don't let the darkness convince you otherwise. Your flame is burning, your door is open, and your time is now. Chosen ones, as that flame within you burns brighter, feel the warmth spreading not just through your spirit, but into the very atmosphere around you. You're not merely holding a light, you're becoming a beacon, a signal to the heavens that you're ready to step into the fullness of God's plan. The door before you, etched with your name in celestial gold, isn't just an entryway, it's a gateway to a life where your every step resonates with divine purpose. The stars above are still watching, their light a reminder that tonight's message explains everything clearly. Your fears are keys, your struggles are stepping stones, and your time is now. You're on the verge of a spiritual awakening that will not only transform you, but ignite a chain reaction of hope across the lives you touch. Imagine a vast desert, its sands stretching endlessly under a moonlit sky. You've walked this desert, haven't you? The parched seasons of waiting, the moments when your throat ached for answers, the times when you wondered if God's promises had dried up. But look closer. Beneath those sands, hidden springs are stirring, ready to burst forth. Isaiah 35:6-7 promises, "Water will gush forth in the wilderness and streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, the thirsty ground bubbling springs." Your desert isn't your destiny, it's your preparation. Every moment you pressed on, every time you chose faith over despair, you were digging toward those springs. Your 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your shovel, breaking the ground to release the life God has stored up for you. Let's talk about the thirst you've carried. The longing for meaning, for connection, for a breakthrough that feels like home. You've seen others drink from wells of success while you stood in the heat, wondering why your turn hadn't come. But God wasn't withholding. He was deepening your roots. Think of Hannah weeping in the temple for a child while others celebrated their families. 1 Samuel 1:11 shows her pouring out her soul, vowing to dedicate her son to God. Her tears weren't wasted. They watered the seed of Samuel, a prophet who shifted a nation. Your thirst, your longing, your unanswered prayers, they're not signs of God's absence, but of His investment in you. Your 3 steps are your vow, your commitment to turn longing into legacy. Now let's meet someone who found their spring. Javier, a 45-year-old carpenter from Phoenix, Arizona, spent years feeling stuck in a cycle of debt and unfulfilled dreams. He'd always wanted to teach woodworking to kids in his community, but the fear of financial instability kept him tethered to odd jobs. "How can I start something when I'm barely surviving?" he'd ask. Last year he took a small step. He wrote down his vision for a free woodworking class. That act led him to share his idea with a local youth center, which offered him a small space. Javier started with 3 kids, teaching them to carve simple boxes. Today, his program, Crafting Futures, serves 15 teens, funded by a local hardware store. His fear was real, but his action tapped a hidden spring. Your steps, write a goal, reach out, start a project, are your tap, releasing the flow of God's abundance. You're not just walking through a door, you're entering a season of overflow. Picture a riverbank, its edges bursting with life, lush greenery, vibrant flowers, creatures thriving in harmony. That's the life God is calling you to, where your personal transformation spills over to nourish others. Psalm 23:5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." Your cup isn't meant to stay full. It's meant to spill, to water the dry places in your family, your community, your world. Your 3 steps are your offering, pouring out faith that invites God's overflow. Write that goal to set the table. Reach out to share the feast. Start that project to let the cup spill. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel the springs of destiny bubbling within, consider sowing a seed through Super Thanks below. Your generosity helps carry this river to others, quenching the thirst of chosen ones still wandering their deserts. But whether you give or simply receive, know this: you were made for overflow. The door is open, and God is ready to pour out more than you can contain. Now, let's talk about the chains that have tried to hold you back. Not physical chains, but the invisible ones. Regret, shame, the weight of what could have been. You've felt them, haven't you? The moments when you replayed past mistakes, wondering if you've missed your chance. But God is a chain breaker. Galatians 5:1 proclaims, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Your past isn't your prison. It's your platform. Every mistake, every misstep, every moment you thought disqualified you was God forging a testimony that will set others free. Your 3 steps are your declaration of freedom, proof that chains can't hold what God has called. Let's look at someone who broke their chains. Lisa, a 52-year-old receptionist from Cleveland, Ohio, carried regret for years after leaving college to care for her sick mother. She dreamed of becoming a counselor, but felt her chance had passed. "I'm too old to start over," she'd tell herself. But last spring she took a step. She reached out to a local community college about their counseling program. That call led to a scholarship for mature students. Today, Lisa is halfway through her degree, interning at a women's shelter where her story inspires clients daily. Her regret was heavy, but her action was stronger. Her one step, reaching out, was her key to freedom. Your steps: write a goal, reach out, start a project, are your keys to unlocking the chains that have kept you bound. You're part of a divine uprising, chosen one. Right now, in cities and villages, in quiet homes and bustling streets, others are feeling this same call to break free. You're not alone in this faith journey. 2 Corinthians 3:17 declares, "Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." That Spirit is here, moving through you, uniting you with a remnant ready to rise. Your 3 steps are your battle cry, signaling to heaven that you're ready to stand in the freedom Christ won for you. Don't let regret rewrite your story. Let faith redefine it. If your heart is racing, if you're ready to step into this season of freedom, type "I am breaking free tonight" in the comments below. Your declaration is a shout echoing across the spiritual realm, inspiring others to cast off their chains. Pray for the commenter above you, because we're an army, not individuals, standing together in the liberty of God's call. Let's keep pressing forward, because the door is still open and the chains are falling. Imagine a crown, not of gold or jewels, but of purpose, its weight both heavy and holy. That's what God is placing on you now, not a symbol of royalty, but a mantle of responsibility. Revelation 1:6 calls you a kingdom and priests to serve our God. You're not just chosen, you're commissioned, entrusted with a mission that transcends your lifetime. The fears that once held you back, the regrets that weighed you down, the deserts that tested you, they've all been shaping you for this crown. Your 3 steps: write a goal, reach out, start a project, are your acceptance of that mantle, your commitment to serve in the kingdom where you were born to reign. Let's talk about the mission you carry. It's not just about your dreams or your breakthrough, it's about the lives tethered to your obedience. Somewhere, a child needs the hope your story will bring. A friend needs the courage your action will inspire. A community needs the change your purpose will ignite. Think of Nehemiah, rebuilding Jerusalem's walls despite mockery and threats. Nehemiah 2:18 shows him rallying the people. "I told them about the gracious hand of my God on me." His mission wasn't just about stones. It was about restoring a nation's faith. Your mission is the same, rebuilding what's broken, not just in your life, but in the world around you. Your 3 steps are your tools, laying the first stones of a legacy that will stand. You're not just stepping through a door. You're stepping into a story bigger than yourself. Picture a book, its pages spanning eternity, each chapter a life transformed by God's hand. Your chapter is being written now, and the pen is in your hand. Will it tell of a chosen one who hesitated, or one who ran toward their calling? Philippians 2:13 assures it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. Your 3 steps are your ink, scripting a story that will be read in heaven. Write that goal to begin the chapter. Reach out to add a verse. Start that project to pen a legacy. Chosen ones, as the weight of that holy crown settles on you, feel the strength it imparts, not to burden you, but to empower you. You're not just carrying a mission. You're embodying a divine mandate, a call to reshape the world with the light of your purpose. The door before you, glowing under the starlit sky, is still open, its invitation clear. Step into the story God has written for you. Tonight's message has explained everything clearly. Your fears are keys, your struggles are springs, your regrets are broken chains, and your time is now. You're not just a participant in this spiritual awakening, you're a pioneer, blazing a trail for others to follow. The pages of your eternal chapter are turning, and the ink of your faith is ready to flow. Imagine a horizon at dawn, the first rays of sunlight piercing the darkness, revealing a landscape of possibility. That's where you stand now, at the edge of a new day, where every step you take paints the sky with hope. Malachi 4 proclaims, "But for you who revere my name, the Sun of Righteousness will rise with healing in its rays." Your 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, starting a project, are your rays, casting light into the shadows of doubt and despair. They're not just actions, they're acts of worship. Declarations that you trust the God who makes all things new. Your mission isn't to chase the sunrise, but to become it, rising with healing for a world that's waiting. Let's talk about the impact you're destined to make. Your life isn't a solitary spark, it's a firestorm meant to ignite change far beyond your reach. Think of Ruth, a widowed foreigner who stepped into Bethlehem with nothing but loyalty to Naomi. Ruth 2:11 shows her small act of faithfulness, catching Boaz's eye, leading to a legacy that birthed King David and ultimately your small steps. Writing that goal, reaching out, starting that project, are your Ruth moment, seemingly simple but eternally significant. Somewhere, a soul is waiting for the hope your obedience will bring. A family is waiting for the healing your courage will unlock. A generation is waiting for the legacy your faith will establish. Don't underestimate the power of your yes. If this message is setting your heart ablaze, if you feel the sunrise of destiny breaking within, consider sowing a seed through super thanks below. Your generosity fuels this fire, carrying its warmth to chosen ones still lost in the dark, searching for their own dawn. But whether you give or simply stand, know this: you were born to shine. The door is open, and God is calling you to rise. Now, let's address the final lie the enemy whispers. It's too late. You might think your years, your mistakes, or your missed chances have closed the book on your purpose. But God is the author of time, and His clock ticks with grace. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Your delays, your detours, your deserts, they've all been woven into a tapestry of divine timing. Your 3 steps are your proof that it's never too late to begin again. Write that goal to reclaim your vision. Reach out to restore what's been lost. Start that project to rewrite your ending. The sun is rising, and your chapter is far from over. Chosen ones, this is your moment, your divine now. The stars have witnessed your journey, the angels have recorded your faith, and God Himself is leaning in, waiting for your response. If your spirit is soaring, if you're ready to step into this sunrise of purpose, type "I am rising in God's time" in the comments below. Your words are a flare, lighting the way for others to find their own dawn. Pray for the commenter above you, because we're a family, bound by the light we share. And please, share this video with someone who needs to hear that their time isn't up. Your share could be their sunrise, their key to the door still open. Join thousands of chosen souls by subscribing to stay connected to your divine purpose and hit that notification bell to never miss a message meant for you. Thank you for allowing me to walk this sacred path with you, for opening your heart to a truth that changes everything. Let's pray to seal this moment. Heavenly Father, we stand before you, chosen and called, with hearts ready to rise. Break every lie that says it's too late. Pour out your light on these precious ones, igniting their steps, writing goals, reaching out, starting projects with your power. Let their lives be a sunrise, healing nations, restoring families, shifting generations. In Jesus' name, amen. The door is open, beloved. Your sunrise is here. Step through, shine bright, and let your chapter begin. God says the time is now. Go write your story.